Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the new Moments Boateng to review today, so we're just going to go ahead and slap a Shadow Chemistry style on him because we already checked out the card for these discussion videos. If you guys like the discussion videos, be sure to let me know. We could definitely do more in the future because I know that people like them a lot whenever we do them on YouTube. So if there's anything specific that you guys want me to talk about, we can definitely see to it if we can potentially do it in the future. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out this card. We're looking at a card that is 6'4", tall guy, eh? Medium work rates, right-footed, 2-star skill moves with a 4-star weak foot. In regards to in-game player traits, he has the long throw-in traits and the injury-prone traits, so nothing too important there. Now, the in-games, he's got 73 acceleration with 86 sprint speed. It's kind of good that he has 86 sprint speed because his acceleration is not that high up, but if he actually catches a certain point after his acceleration, he'll actually be able to chase after the ball really nicely. He does have 83 acceleration with 96 sprint speed with the boost from the Shadow Chemistry style, and we are essentially going to be making his defending perfect. He has 86 shot power, which is kind of irrelevant because his finishing is low at 37. But with the Shadow Chemistry style, you can take a look at the defensive stats that we are only going to be lacking in a +5 for defensive awareness and a +4 for interceptions, which obviously isn't going to be a big deal because this guy is massive, right? A tall player like this in regards to interceptions and defending certain areas of the pitch really nicely is going to really depend on, a lot of different variables, right? Because of his acceleration being low, we have to rely on stats like aggression being at a 90 and his dribbling stats being the way that it is too. Now, because his dribbling is at a 75 for agility, 70 for balance, and a 75 for dribbling, his pace may not be a huge issue, right? Those are all of the things you kind of have to put together when it comes to actually analyzing his pace. Now, obviously, would it be nice if his acceleration was at like a 79 or a 78 or an 80? Of course, right? It's just the meta of the game. But this card could still be a very good center back because of the other stats around it, right? As you guys know, aggression is a really big part of pace, as well as body type and physical stats too, to be able to chase after the ball and defend certain situations really nicely. Now, he's huge. So what this game kind of revolves around is a lot of defensive AI oriented stuff, right? Van Dijk is not necessarily the fastest, but Van Dijk's defensive AI is out of this world. This guy defends like an absolute monster, right? So Boateng could be in a very similar situation as well. This card actually has passing abilities too at 87 short passing with 95 long passing. So pretty decent there because he also has the 4-star weak foot to work with that as well. Medium work rates is not a bad thing to have with this card. Reactions at a 96 is definitely very important for someone like him too. And then physical stats. He's a pretty big guy, right, guys? He's a person who's high and stocky with 97 strength and 90 jumping, right? So I still feel like even though he lacks an acceleration, I still feel like he could be a very good center back to have in this game regardless, right? So we're going to be playing him next to Klosterman. And as you guys know, Rare Gold Klosterman is pretty good, right? So with his Boateng card, it's definitely going to be an interesting way to test out this card. So with the way that this team lines up, I think a good way to test out Boateng is definitely going to be, I would say we have 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2. We'll use 3-5-2. Press after possession loss, aggressive tactics, yes. Yeah, that's perfect. Because I'm going to have Boateng over here in the middle. We'll commit the other players here. Play as a striker, no. Join the attack. Join the attack, that's when they actually like push out of position too. We could just have cover center for the CDMs because they might occupy the center back positions when they're caught out of position. The rest of the team doesn't really matter that much because we'll be playing like regular FIFA, but we are going to be testing out his defensive capabilities, obviously, in game. So, yeah, let's get into a game, see how he plays. Hopefully his acceleration is not that big of a deal. I really hope it's not because he's freaking massive, so. Okay, so we'll switch to the defensive tactics, and we'll see what's up. I want to play a little bit of regular FIFA, but obviously like open FIFA too to be able to test out the card, right? So far his tracking is really good in those situations. I'm going to block him right here. Take him out of position a little bit. Block that middle area. We'll switch to him right here. Watch this run. Oh, possession-based tackle, nice. Let's see what his dribbling is like. Wow, his dribbling for a center back is actually really nice with the height that he has. That's actually really important, man. I thought it would feel way more sluggish, and as you guys know, I have reviewed a lot of center backs in the past that have definitely felt very sluggish, so yeah, that's actually not bad for him at all. His dribbling stats definitely compensate well for the height and stuff that he has, so that's pretty cool. Nice little goal right there, we'll take that. The 3-5-2 is, it's a nice formation, man. Definitely recommend for a lot of people to use it. Oh, he pulled out his goalkeeper. I was like, hey, man, you want to give me that space? I'll definitely take it. We get the rage quit there. Yeah, so, I mean, in that game, it was one tackle. You know, he defended well. His dribbling is definitely better than I thought it would be, so that's really good. I feel like the high reactions is important for him, so that's pretty good so far. Okay, guys, game number 2. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it going. Let's see what's up with him. Yeah, his dribbling is way better than I thought it would be. Yeah, I think it's the reactions, guys. I think reactions is definitely compensating really, really well. So that's awesome, man. If he was like a little bit sluggish, I'd be like, oh, it's a little bit disappointing. But the fact that he isn't is really cool. Nice little goal right there with Coleman. Stays in that side position really nicely. We got the penalty right there. This guy was just pulling his goalkeeper. My boy Boateng. Neuer's taking the penalty. That's too funny. Boateng. How much does he have? 51 penalties? Alright, we'll just do a small one right here. Ah, it went so far to the left because it's so low. Oh, that was good. We'll take that with Bailey. Possession-based tackle again with Boateng. Nicely done. His tackles are coming off nicely. They're not, like, pushing the ball away too far, so that's pretty good. Gonna overcommit here. There we go. Now we have to chase after. You know what, guys? His chase after is really not that bad. You know what it is, bro? Okay. Because his sprint speed for base card stats is high, once he reaches that certain point of his acceleration, he starts to use his sprint speed, it's pretty good because he's a big player, man. Big players like this are super nice to use in that defensive area for those reasons, right? I don't know if he stays on side right here. No. Always really important to get attackers that go back on side immediately and holds that line. Team of the Year Ronaldo was great at that when I was using him. Trying him again here. Marks the guy the entire time. We'll switch. Block this area here. So that's poor defending on my part, obviously. You're actually not supposed to use the defenders there that often. You're supposed to switch at that very last second so that you can kind of go for that instant acceleration into the space. So it really wasn't his fault that he didn't defend that area well. Okay, I'm going to overcommit some CDMs here. Some aggressive defending. Slide tackle. Okay. See how fast he gets back into position here. It's pretty quick, man. Look at this. We're going to use that. Switch to him to Boateng now. Good. We actually put enough pressure on him to take a less effective shot. I think the thing that's going to compensate a lot for this card is going to definitely be physical presence and defensive AI. I think that's going to be the biggest things for him for sure. This is a good situation here, actually. See what I'm saying? So you can definitely notice that like sluggish running type that he has, right? Because his acceleration and his body type as well as his height, for sure. But like I said, guys, with this card, once he reaches that certain point of acceleration, he does sprint really nicely after the ball, considering he was actually really far back right there. So I don't think that's going to be necessarily too big of an issue, to be honest with you guys. It really just depends on how you're defending. Like, you shouldn't overcommit players often anyway, so pretty decent. Possession base again. Let's see what he's like holding off opposition here. Yeah, not bad at all. Bad dribbling for me there. We're going to commit this space here. Possession base again. His tackles are really good, man. Really, really good. Little bit of a touch right there worked out really nicely too. I didn't really approach the ball head on, so... I mean, guys, like I said, those base characteristic of acceleration, body type, and dribbling is always going to be a noticeable thing with these cards, but the thing that you can rely on them with is definitely going to be defensive AI and a strong defensive presence. So, yeah, good shielding right there, actually. Situations like that, you don't always want to make the pass immediately to the sides, because if you do, it's really easy for your opponent to just get the ball off you, because the player will just do like a auto interception there in those situations. So this transitioning wasn't that bad right there, actually. It's a little bit rough. It is a little bit rough, but for a center back, you could definitely work with it for sure. Good. Possession-based tackle again. Those situations, you don't even want to tackle. You just want to hold that L trigger and just wait for him to make that little defensive play. Good interception again. You can see that from the initial touch. He still has that, like, heavy feel about him, right? So it's going to be a base characteristic of his for sure. Oh, it's a good situation, actually. Yeah, so obviously I overcommitted like an idiot right there, but it's good to test out what his sprint speed is actually like. You could tell that he's not an agile runner, right? Like, he's a heavy runner. Similar situation to like Kurzawa, actually, when I reviewed his card, how when he chases after someone, it's not necessarily the best. But what you notice here with Boateng, right, is that his defensive awareness is really good. So when it comes to defending in this game, it's definitely just going to be like last second switching, because you can see that he marks the players really nicely the entire time. So the way that you defend in this game, obviously we test out certain variables of these cards when we're doing the player review, but he doesn't require you to use him that often. It's just a matter of whenever you need to use him, then you will, right? Alright guys, so final verdict on this Jerome Boateng card. So I think he's actually pretty good, right? So when we test out defenders, we test out what they're like when we choose to be aggressive in certain situations that you probably shouldn't be, but more, the player himself compensating for user control, right? So a lot of the positions where I overcommitted him, he wouldn't do because his defensive awareness is actually really solid. And his acceleration and sprint speed works really well, because even if you were to just use 5 depth or 4 depth for a card like this, I feel like he runs around the pitch really nicely anyways. It's more of an issue if you're using a 3 at the back formation and you're using him as a right or left center back. But in a center back position, it's obviously not that big of a deal at all. Now, obviously, through balls are a very consistent way of scoring in this game because they're absolutely ridiculous. But his defensive awareness to be able to block attackers constantly is actually really good. And I feel like his pace is good enough to work with because of his 96 sprint speed. If the sprint speed was lower, it would be more annoying. Like if he was at like a 91 for sprint speed, then the acceleration part of the card would definitely be annoying. But the aggression that the card has with his 97 strength and body type, while working with good dribbling stats on and off the ball because his transitioning is not that bad, it's a nice player to have, especially because he's 6'4", right? So if you ever get into certain situations where he is the main guy to defend with, he does really good possession-based tackles, and his defensive AI animations will be very good to save your life in a lot of situations, right? I won't say he's on the level of Virgil van Dijk or anything like that, because Van Dijk is a different breed defensive AI-wise, but he's still a very good center back. So if you guys want to get him for that link up to Alphonso Davies or the Team of the Year Kimi card, or even David Alaba with Neuer, there's a lot of cool concepts you can work with a card like this for your past and present FC Bayern team. Or maybe you want to do a Bundesliga team and you want to add him in there too. I think he'd still be a good center back. I really don't see a huge issue with his acceleration being an 83, because his body type and height, as well as his other stats, have definitely compensated well for him to be a very good center back in the game. So yeah, if you guys want to do it for link ups, be sure to do so. He's a pretty cool card, guys. He's not expensive at all, so I think 229k is very fair for his defensive ability in game, as well as the link ups you can get with him. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys for the other reviews. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.